Are we all set now? Can you see me on broadcast?
We can see the screen and people are joining. We should give it like a couple of minutes. There's 100 at the moment. 140, yeah.
So what happens? It puts them in a holding. Can they hear me now?
Yeah.
We can hear you fine, yes.
Okay, we're all waiting for people to come on, so I'll just give it a few minutes here. I hope the lighting will be okay, so you can see me as good as I can. I'm out here in Jerusalem, Israel, by the way. Haven't been out of my house in quite a while, although I go out a little bit in the mornings to see what's happening. I'm looking forward to a nice presentation. I probably run us about an hour and a half, maximum an hour and 15, something like that. And I'm very happy that we have Tracey with us, so that's going to be a lot of fun. And I hope we'll be great. So let me know when we're starting. Can we start yet? Or
give another couple of seconds. We've got about 300 at the moment. You can see the count at the bottom there. In a few minutes, we'll
I actually can't see anything, but I don't need to see anything, I guess. I don't know. I'm going to go to the H here and see if you are screen sharing. And I really don't see anything in the bottom. I don't know where is
so
there.
You want to maybe make the screen a little bit smaller so you'll be able to see also everything on the background.
Then everybody else is going to see small stuff. Let's see. Whoa. Now I don't know what I did. I got into trouble here. Okay. Let's go back.
Just say, I got it. That's it.
Say what? Now what? I'm just going to come back to my other way here.
Yeah, go to the presentation.
Okay.
You're not on the first page, though.
I'm not where?
You're not on the first page of the presentation.
Yeah, I'm going to just jump up right now. Okay, I see over here we have raised hands and stuff like that. I wonder how I kill all that, but we'll see. And so for everybody, look, you can, let's see, get this. Yeah, the way it'll work is you can raise your hands. I don't know if we'll be able to call on people with the voice stuff, but type your questions in. And Joshua Kirsch, who's working with us over here and managing this production, as well as Avital and our team, they will see what your written questions are, and they'll try to see if we can answer them. There are a couple of questions up here and there, and I'm looking forward to really having a good time. So somebody tell me when I'm ready to go, okay? Are you ready to start? It's 7:02. Yeah. Okay, everybody. Okay, well, first of all, thank you all for joining this webinar. I must say this has got to be one of the most difficult times we've ever experienced in the diamond industry. And if I try to figure out what we need to do and what's going on, it's complicated, man. It's really complicated. So what I've done, I've come up with a model, sort of a way to think about things. And we'll apply the model today. And, you know, it may not be a perfect model, but it'll probably be pretty good. So let's start it off. Let's see what happens here. I can click on here. Okay. So the normal beginning is Rapaport. We're a value-based, ethical, transparent, competitive, efficient markets. Ethical, of course, you know, we just turn away business that's not cool. Transparent and competitive, that drives fair market value because you're getting a lot of transparency and competition like on RapNet or in auctions. And then we were established in 1978, 230 employees in 9 offices. In 6 countries, 20,000 clients, 121 countries. And when the added value service business, we don't buy diamonds and trade them. We do transact diamonds for auctions and stuff, but we're not in the normal diamond business. We're in the added value service business. Now, what do? Auction, we have information services division with a price list magazine, internet, research reports, a lot of interesting things that we do, which is basic research into what's going on in the diamond industry. We spend quite a bit of money doing that. RapNet, which is our diamond trading network, which is a really great network where there's a lot of stuff going on, boycott, but we're over 1 million diamonds now, something like 30,000 searches a day. And things are coming back to normal. And then we run Rapaport auctions and trading services, which is a very important thing because we're actually creating markets for melee, and we're the largest recycler of diamonds in the world. And grading and certification, we work with the GI in India, and we have our own grading capabilities, and we're going to be doing very exciting things there. But this isn't about me. So what are we going to do today? What's our goal? So first of all, let's try to figure out where are we? What's going on right now? Don't think about where are we going? What should we do? Where are we going is important. And then what should we do? What is our target? What is our goal? Are there any things that people can think about which is going to make them say, okay, now I understand. I got to try this. I got to try that. Now, my model may not be correct and for you, and then my ideas may not be perfect. And everybody here, the name of the game is to think about, what do I learn from what Rapaport said, to think about things in my own way, because everybody's business is different. And not just that, I can point in a direction that I think will work for people to survive and even prosper because of the coronavirus. But then again, people may have different views. So I want to stop for a minute here and point something out. This George Floyd, right? This is a human being that died in a tragic death. And, we're going under tremendous stress right now. I mean, everybody's undergoing stress. They're home. They don't have jobs, And so now when things like this happen, it pits the people against the police. And the police are trying to do a good job. Most of them are, although in this case, I don't think so. And then the hospital workers, there were so many good people doing so many good things. And so we need to be aware of that as well. And we have to try to avoid fights and conflict and riots in society. So our social values as Americans, or even as the world, are being tested. And we're seeing these conflicts all over the place. Sure, you got the riots and you have the police and you have the George Floyd and you have the black community, which is really a serious situation. But you also have China. You got riots out there and you got fights between China and America. And you have all kinds of things going on where we're seeing some kind of a breakdown in the social order. Now, there's significant ramifications for our industry about the George Floyd story as well. I mean, not just the riots and jewelry stores getting hit, but the relationship between people and diamonds and jewelry being something that bridges them. So we can't ignore the situation. If you've got a story, if you've got people, talk it out with people. Don't just ignore it and say, how do you feel about it? I mean, you don't want to create fights or something, but it's something that we don't want to ignore. Now look, this coronavirus or COVID-19 is serious stuff. As of June 3, which is I think yesterday, 6,585,506 cases worldwide. Total deaths of 388,000 people, 244. And we don't even know if we're capturing everything. What I'd like people to do right now, just because we should stop sometimes and think of others, I'd like to just have a minute of silence on behalf of, in honor of all the people who have died. Some people, we should think about all the people, and even George Floyd, but we should think about all the people and just remember, we should be thankful to God that we're alive. We should be thankful to God that we have survived or are surviving so far. So I'm just going to stand up here for a minute and just think about the people I know, people I love, and maybe some people that have died. Okay. Let us remember the dead and may God bless them and their families, and may we all appreciate every moment that we have of our good life and all the good that we have. Now, this coronavirus thing is really tough. I mean, because I just went online, to see what was happening, and this is a number here: 136,680 additional people in one day. So what you're looking at here is the day-by-day additions of people worldwide. I think today this is the 2nd of June today. Maybe it came down a little bit. It does jump up and down. But this is not over, everybody. It's not over. And certainly the economic impact is not. Look at this here, total cases. You see this pretty steady curve over here, taking us to 6.5 million. And when we look at the actual deaths, which is very sad, you can see the US, the world, and India, thank God, none, or very little, 4,000 or something. But we don't know what's going to happen, and we need to be very careful. So let's just be aware that this thing is not over. And, you could say, even if well, I'm going to show you this part. This is an interesting slide. I don't know how accurate it is exactly because things are changing all the time. But we're looking at June 20th, some kind of beginning of serology testing. So that's not there. That'll let you know if you've had it or not. But there is serious predictions about November, it coming back with a second wave. Again, I hope that's not true. I'm not going to be pessimistic here. I think we just need to realize that this COVID thing is actually continuing. And it's not just going to go away in 3 minutes like it happened in the left. Excuse me. Yeah, I got to use these all the time, right? So we have to be very careful, everybody. Don't just assume everything's fine and go running around in the streets. Keep yourself safe, keep your family safe, and be careful. But the impact of this COVID-19, the coronavirus, is, you can look at the health side, and we're going to talk about that, but then you got to think about the economic side. So there's going to be an eco-virus, an economic virus that's going to hit us too. Now, I'm sitting here thinking, how do we understand what's going on? There's so many things happening and conflicting and merging and blanging into each other. How can we slice things up in a certain way that we could at least begin to have a model for how to think about the impact of this virus and where we're going and what we need to do? So there's economic stuff happening. So the economic stuff, of course, unemployment, stock market's up and down and up. People, not just unemployment, but supply chains getting messed up, demand changing. And then there's social things that are happening around us. Riots, if you want to call that part of the social thing. But there's a lot of social stuff that's going on that this COVID-19 is going to change. It's going to impact. And these are things that I would consider to be external forces whacking us. Things coming from outside of our world, outside of the diamond industry. And then there's emotional things going on. I'm home. I'm worried about my wife. I'm worried about my kids. I'm worried about my job. I'm worried about my life. I'm worried about a million things. And then there's actual physical things. I'm physically in my house. I can't go to the office. I can't go to the store. People can't walk into stores. Should you open a store or not? There are physical things that have to happen in your life in reaction to this COVID thing. So looking at these four things, I'm hoping we can try to think about how that works. Now, there's this interesting, Donald Rumsfeld was the head of the CIA when he said this. And I don't want to confuse you too much. I'll just kind of go over it a little bit. But there are known knowns. I mean, there are things we know that we know. So as I'm going to look at this world that's coming up, I think one thing we all agree is a lot of uncertainty. We don't know what's going to happen. We are really concerned because we don't know what's going to happen. Will people want to buy diamonds? Won't they want to buy diamonds? How important will jewelry be? Will people have enough jobs? A lot of unknowns out there. Everybody. And like I said, some of it's physical, personal, some of it's social. So there are things that we know that we know. We know this. We know there's going to be more movement towards digital selling of jewelry. We know that. It's a fact. We know there's going to be unemployment. And then there are things that we know that we don't know them. We don't know what the weather's going to be. Right now, thank God, everybody seems okay. There was a typhoon or a hurricane going through Mumbai on the way to Surat. There's things that we know we don't know, but they're going to impact us. But we kind of, we buy insurance. We kind of deal with them. But then there's stuff that we don't even know what we don't know. So we don't know what things are going to pop up, like riots. Whoever dreamt in the middle of the coronavirus, no one's supposed to leave their homes, and boom, now we have full-scale riots happening in New York City. So there's stuff we don't even know what's going to happen, but we didn't even expect it to happen. And it's one way of looking at it. So when we're thinking about uncertainty, what you may want to do is you may want to think about, okay, sorry. You may want to think about, what do I know? What can I plan for? What can I plan for that I know is going to happen? What can I plan for that I'm not sure if it's going to happen? Go buy insurance. And then, like how much money should I leave on the side because something weird that I didn't expect to happen has happened. Think about things that way. And the things I want you to think about that way are, in fact, these things. What's the economic impact on me? What's the social impact on me? What's the emotional impact on me and my employees and my family and my friends? What's the physical impact on me? There's a virus out there. You get sick, God forbid, right? I'm coughing today. Don't worry. It's not the virus. I think I just have to get a drink or something. Maybe I'll... Rivka, can you get me a glass of water, please? The advantage of working at home, I really get to know my wife, and she's great. She cooks wonderful. I'm so happy to have such a wonderful wife. Okay. So the thinking is you got these 4 things that I built you in this model, and you want to think about what do I know, what don't I know, and what could pop up out of nowhere and take me by surprise. So like I said, the move to digital, riots, weather. But now the big lesson is new society with changed values and norms. I know that that's going to happen now. Society is a strange concept. It means all people and how they think and what they do. And the values of people. How are people thinking about things? How are they valuing each other? How are they valuing diamonds? How are they valuing their life and their health? Their parents, their grandparents, norms of behavior. All that, I promise you, everybody, is going to change. And that's a big thing that we need to think about also in the context of values, economic, emotional, social, and physical. So I'm going to be hammering this on your head quite a few times, but you'll get used to it. So the corona impact essentially has, like I said before, external stuff like economics and social. See, economics, social, boom, coming in and impacting us. Then there's internal impact. Things that are not being caused by something happening outside the diamond industry necessarily, and maybe it is also the health and stuff, but let's think about that way, that they're internal things, maybe not the diamond industry, but your personal life things. And then there's interactions. Everything is messy because what's going on is these things are all interacting with each other, which is creating the confusion, which is why I'm trying to slice them up a little bit so we can isolate different things that are impacting us because of the coronavirus. So like I said, the external impact, social, economic forces are coming in and affecting the diamond industry and the world and us. And then there's physical and emotional things hitting us as well, causing us to change our behavior, our values, our norms, or what have you. So you want to understand these things that are coming out, little boogeymen coming out and affecting us. All right. So let's talk about economic stuff. So first of all, you're going to be talking about a diamond industry, which is going to decline in terms of the number of diamonds, supply chain is changing, and so there's going to be a decline in the amount of activity probably. I mean, I don't want to be negative. Hopefully it won't happen, but realistically speaking, De Beers has already pulled back 25% of their production, and you'll see I'm going to estimate about a 40% decline, but there's going to be a decline. Diamond prices, I don't know. Depends. Right now, in the past few weeks, we've seen a little firming of diamond prices, actually. Very, very small, but there's not a lot of goods. China's opening up, so we don't know. And it's important to recognize that we don't know, so we watch, we wait, we see, and then we report. Unemployment's a biggie. Okay, now I got to tell you, you'll see, I'll throw a graph up here. And unemployment, I'm going to talk about the economic ramifications of unemployment, but then I'm going to talk about the social implications. The cost of doing business has gone crazy. First of all, you're not getting any revenue. You're just getting expenses. The PPP program did give some money to people in the United States, but in general, it's a very unsettled feeling to be paying rent and employees with zero income, like our trading business, zero, nothing. Okay. Globalization is happening, and you'll see this globalization stuff was such a foundation of demand, such a foundation of the global economy driving it, and now that's really getting whacked. Some of it's getting whacked because of coronavirus, and people aren't producing diamonds in India, they're not manufacturing, though they just started again, about 70% up in Surat. But China and the United States are just not getting along very well. And then you have those riots or those problems in Hong Kong. So, the idea that the world is one big happy family, forget about it. That's not happening. And maybe it's because of coronavirus, but mostly it's not. But the coronavirus is like an extra, the straw that breaks the back of the camel. It's like that extra force that causes all kinds of other things to happen. And so it pushes things to the end. Look what's going on with the riots. So, it was a terrible thing that happened. Other things have happened, but now it broke. Enough. Black people can't take it anymore. And they're probably right about that. So, things are happening and it forces people to take extreme positions. So globalization looks like it's not going to be the economic force it was. And you can see that through trade wars. So what does this look like? So let me give you a little look and see where we are today and where we got there in the diamond industry. Rough production. We dropped about 9.7% from 2018 to 2019. And we're going to continue going down. I estimate by maybe, well, De Beers has said they're down 25%. In production, I would estimate that's a conservative figure. Rough sales were down already between 2018 and 2019, about 23%. You got to figure, I don't want to be freaking people out, but you might see another 40% from 2019 levels, which means we'd be sitting at about, I don't know, $8 billion, $8 billion of rough sales coming through, which means that the polished also is going to come down. If you figured something like, and like 40 is like a big number, maybe it's 25, maybe it's 30, figure 30, you know, you're going to be back at about $15 billion. So there's going to be less polish coming through the markets, which may not be a bad thing. But then again, jewelry sales, I can't see how they're not going to be hit by about also 25 to 40%, maybe 30%. So we're looking at a market which is going to shrink. I don't know that the prices will necessarily fall, although they might, because there'll be less goods. So maybe we're looking at an adjustment between supply and demand, which, by the way, is not such a terrible thing, you know, given the fact that even before this, we weren't making so much money. But here it's a sad thing in terms of the profitability industry is very problematic. It was, and now at least crash, boom, throw it down, you know, break the plate. And now maybe we'll get into a better situation. Now, this is a very important graph because a lot of people are going to say, okay, Rapaport, what happened in 2008? So kind of similar, right? There was a drop, there was a big problem, and then we survived and everything got good. So, you know, what's the deal here? And it makes sense to look at what happened in 2008. Now, in 2008, I'll blow this up in a little bit so you can see some more. But this area over here showed a decline in rough prices, decline in polished, and then boom, 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 everything went up. And this is really China's entry into the diamond business in a strong way. But then, God help us, you know, rough prices, you know, came down, but they held up. And this gap over here is where everybody didn't make any money. So, you know, since this nice period where there was a relationship between rough and polished down in January 2012 or so, the industry has been in a steady state of decline with a lot of profitability lost. It's just been a bad kind of a situation. Now, if you look at what happened in 2008, rough came down. And what's really important here, you see that blue line above the orange line? That's bad. That means rough is more expensive than polished. So what happened and what's our hope here now for the COVID-19 kind of environment? In 2008, rough came down by 55% and polished came down by 28%, which meant that there was profit here. Things were bad, but there was profit. There was profit. And that profit, okay, true, the Chinese came in, but that profit fueled a beautiful increase. Now here again, you see this rough kind of sneaking ahead of the polished here all the time, almost like pushing it up, you might say. But so there was some profits, losses here too, for sure. But here people made money, so this thing kind of went along. And people said, in bad times, I make more money than in good times because I can buy cheaper. And I'm not going to go into the whole story of how you make money in bad times. I published it. And if you're interested, send me an email. We'll tell you about it. Now, so this idea that rough comes down sharp, polish comes down less, followed by a recovery, this is what I think should happen. But, you know, the rough guys keep taking money as long as they can, you know, but this is the solution if there was ever going to be a solution from the rough people. But, you know, you've got a scenario where the Indian government wants to support manufacturing, credit is too easy. I'm not going there in this call today. All I can say to you is this is the lesson from the past that should be applied for the future. Rough prices should come down 50%, which would then leave us the opportunity to manufacture rough and make some profits. Okay. The policy, I think, by the rough guys is hold it back, hold it back, hold it back, you know, hold it up, you know. And I think that's silly. I think that we need to recognize that if prices are lower, the people in the polished business will know how to make money. Let people make money. I mean, the Federal Reserve Bank makes people make money. President Trump with the triple P thing, you know, lets people make money. All the governments, everyone's encouraged to make some money so they get back into action. I think the diamond industry also needs to be allowed to make money so that we can then promote and get back into action. You can see the De Beers sites were 43% decline so far this year, with 0 in site 3, and that because of travel and restrictions. But frankly, it would not surprise me at all if we saw a 40% decline, as I've said earlier, in rough sales in general, not just De Beers. Looks that way, makes sense to me, but I don't see the huge polished demand coming back so fast. And this is the story about globalization, as I was saying before. There's a certain premium in diamonds because we were getting a new China coming into the market, or there's new things happening with globalizations or more efficiency. I think now we're watching that shrink. So I'm predicting globalization is going to take a hit. And everywhere, India will also feel it. Europe's certainly feeling it. So we should realize that we're going to be in a different world where people will be feeding off their own local economies. And this is the big one. This is the killer. This is the big killer. It's the Tracey. Look at this. From 1980, up, down, up, down, up, down. Boom! It's like this stuff was, in some rocket ship. These are percentages. You'll see later. I'll show you the number of people because that's more social. So we're living in a world where unemployment is the number one concern among people. Will I have a job tomorrow? I was looking to hire someone, an MIT grad, and he said, well, he took another job. So it's not like there's no jobs anywhere. But in general, we are in a position right now that we should be very careful. And we should keep employees. Please, try to keep your people working as best as you can. But if you don't make the money, you can't pay people. So we are now in a scenario where there's like a cascading effect. People aren't buying from us, not selling, let employees go. Those employees aren't buying from other people. And so a cycle of unemployment is developing, which is very dangerous. And I am hopeful that the government will, in fact, support jobs and job creation, and it won't be too bad. But this is the big one. This is the big, diamonds here, diamonds there, mining here, mining there. Things work out. Okay, but unemployment, if you get an unemployment cycle, this is, of course, a great danger. So you got to be careful of that. Things aren't going back to the way they were. The normal flow of the river has changed. So we need to be aware of that. And if you're aware of it, you can do things about it. You can prepare for it. And you can think about how you'll select your customers, maybe, or what you do. But just be careful. Unemployment's a big issue. Now, so we went through some of the economic. I can't give you the whole economic story over here. There's a lot of things going on, but I wanted to balance out things, and so you can think about social stuff. Now, social stuff is really important when it comes to the jewelry business, and you really need to understand that people don't buy jewelry just to have a commodity. People buy jewelry for social reasons, or let's just say, maybe personal, emotional reasons, but the social environment has a great impact on jewelry sales and why people buy jewelry. So what does that mean? Look at the unemployment. Now this isn't the percentage, this is the number of people. 22 million people are now unemployed. And I would expect that to go up by another 10 million before we're done here in the next month or so. So, wow, that's a lot of people that are wandering around not working. Think about the impact that has on other people that are working. Maybe a lot of them are working harder, because they see all these other people. But, this is a fundamental social problem in terms of, the haves and the have-nots. And look how messy it gets. What the hell is going on with the stock market? This is nutsy. And let me, I think I know what I'm doing, right? So I sold at the top, and then I didn't buy back, and it went back up, and I'm, kicking myself. But this doesn't make sense, everybody. There's unemployment zooming up, and the stock market zooming up. What the hell is going on here? So we're living in this, if you said to me, I don't know what I don't know, this is one of them. I can't understand this. I don't know if anybody can understand this. Well, you can understand it if you consider that there's been a lot of cash pushed out there by the Fed. And, what are you going to do with your money at 0 interest rates? You put it in the stock market. If I gave everybody in, I don't know, listening to this call, $10 million cash, I guess the price of diamonds would go up. Or, if I had a bunch of kids and I gave them all, money before Christmas or Hanukkah, and, so they would be, price of candy go up. Because the value of something is depending on how much cash is available. So this might be one of those scenarios, but there is nothing that justifies, in my view, this kind of activity. And now it's creating tension. And this is the Economist a week or two ago. This is May 9th. And look, you got Wall Street on one side, and what is the yellow brick road, excess profit, silver streets, Alphaville to those that have, pie in the sky lane over here. And then you got this guy over here in Main Street, downhill drive, okay? The Strand, Barrington, whatever, bad news here. There's a divide, have and have nots. They talked about the billionaires, you have Gates, but we're looking at our friends, our neighbors. Some people are having maybe a lot, and some people are having like nothing. That is a social gang, man. It's not going to be cool to walk around, oh, here, look at my diamond. If the people you're saying, look at my diamond, they don't have enough to eat. So that's changing the vibe. It's changing the atmosphere. It's changing the appetite. We need to be careful about that. We need to understand this is happening in our environment, okay? And now you talk about the rise of millennial socialism. This was actually put out in February 2019. So this is not a new idea. But there's something to do with the age of the younger people, all with their college debt, and they're pissed off at their parents still maybe, or the baby boomers, millennials against boomers, those boomers get all the money. And so you're looking at this divide. There's an age divide, and there's an economic divide, and this is driving a form of socialism. Look, Bernie didn't get in, thank God, in my view, thank God. But now you're seeing this movement, the Black Lives Matter movement, which is not unjustified in saying, hey, we're not getting treated right over here. And this is going to keep rising. This is going to keep cooking. And we should expect that to come up. Now, people tell me very high-end jewelry selling, very low-end jewelry selling, and the middle is dead, and although there's not much anything right now. But you may want to think about that. You may want to think about diamond basics in terms of jewelry. And you may want to think about the high-end jewelry as well, maybe, depending where you are in the jewelry industry. But the rise of millennial socialism isn't a joke, and it's there. It's being driven by things like the stock market going up, unemployment going up. So, this is something that you can expect. And now you got this coronavirus really sticking it to everybody. And when you talk about millennials, and I'm going to bring this up later, but they're like 27%. There's 90 million of them. The baby boomers are just about 74. And you got 60 in the middle. So if you look at your bookends over here, okay, there's about 22 million seniors. We'll talk about them, and they're doing. And the Generation Z, they're less than 19. They're not really going to make a play right now, at least out in the diamond jewelry business. But you have the baby boomers on one side. And I broke the baby boomers off because the 65 to 74 may be more likely to be sellers of jewelry than buyers. And you have the millennials. The big question is, will the millennials buy jewelry? How will we sell them jewelry? Why will they buy jewelry? I'll talk about that. So we are looking at social changes. A lot of it caused, or at least brought to the surface, because of the coronavirus situation, which has caused unemployment, okay? Maybe causing the stock market to go because the government's been putting out too much money. And so this is happening around us. So you see what's going on right now. So, I've been thinking about that, and we're looking at how is the world changing around us. And again, I think that coronavirus is a catalyst. But the underlying thing is very strong. This came up in February last year, okay, over a year ago. And look at this. This is an interesting thing that came up in August, which was, what are companies for? Not just what's jewelry for, or what is chocolate and ice cream for. What are companies for? What is the purpose of a company? Milton Friedman said the purpose of the company is to make money. Okay. And by making money, and for the shareholders, it's doing good things, it's doing the right thing. But now, people are thinking, no, the purpose of the company is to have employees that are happy, to create an environment where all the stakeholders are getting benefit, no exploitation. And, this idea is very close to socialism a little bit. It's not evil, and I think I agree with it, actually. I do believe that, I believe for a different reason. I believe if a company is ethical, then they're going to be more successful. But can companies make the world a better place? And that's what people expect now. And no more than with jewelry. If I buy a product, sneakers, I'll tell you, what's the name? Nike. Nike was doing sneakers, 1994, thereabouts. They were found to have employed child labor in Vietnam, and the whole name Nike went to hell. Unbelievable. I mean, their stock price went down 50%. Their sales went down about 50%. It was terrible for them. And that's just sneakers. If I'm going to give you jewelry, I'm going to give you a ring. And we all know we've been talking about social responsibility and all that. But guess what? Now it's happening. It's really, really happening. So these are the massive changes that we're seeing coming at us from the outside, right? Unemployment's a biggie. The diamond industry is expected to decline by about 25 to 40%. The social environment is becoming much more sensitive, and the customers are becoming much more aware and socialistic in terms of how they're feeling. And so all of that needs to be taken into consideration as we plot a path to the future. Okay, now I'm going to introduce you to Tracey Ellison, who hopefully technically is going to be real fine. And Tracey is an expert in social media communications. Now, why is Tracey here as well? Oh, wait, she has over 719,000 Instagram followers. That's a lot of people. I don't know how many of you guys have 719 people, following you. That'd be a long line of people, okay? She's the diamond girl. That's her thing, the diamonds girl, and she's from South Africa. And I've asked Tracey to teach us how we can humanize our digital relationships. And the reason for that is we're about to go to this world of physical and emotional. We were talking about the external forces. We're now going to start talking about, how can you, in this new world, develop relationships with people other than having them in your store or, playing golf with them or touching them, feeling them, and hanging out with them. Because the relationship world has changed. And, it's not new. I mean, we've had Tinder around for a while, right? We've had Facebook around for a while. We had all these other ways that people communicate. But now this has emerged much bigger than just some social tweeting and stuff. Now we're in a world of diamonds and jewelry, and we're thinking, okay, what are we going to do there that's going to enable us to develop human relations? And I'll tell you why that's so important later. So Tracey and Joshua, can you guys take it away? I'll try to drink a little water so my voice clears up. So Joshua, will you take care of Tracey now and get her up here?
Yeah, okay. Tracey, you can start presenting. Start sharing your screen.
Okay, great. So you need to give me permission to share video screening.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you do that?
You're doing it right away.
Great.
Technology is great. It's wonderful. But you need to have patience. You need to have patience. They did practice. Oh, below and behold, Tracey. You want to bring the screen a little bit down, Tracey, so you can get more. There you go. Oh, not so far down. That's it. You're great. You're wonderful.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Fire away, Tracey.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you, Martin, for that lovely introduction. Thank you for having me this morning, and very big welcome to everybody from all over the world who has joined us here today. I'm going to share out my screen. As Martin said, technology is wonderful, so just let's hope that it works. Give me one moment. All right. Are you seeing? Yeah? You seeing it?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Okay, let's make that a little bit bigger.
There you go.
There we go. Close down that box. All righty. So I'm going to be talking to you today a little bit about social media and how we, in our particular business, diamonds, jewelry, finished pieces, rough stones, cut stones, how we can use digital platforms to make sure that we are engaging and interacting with potential customers in a human way. So that's what we're going to be doing. Little bit before I really dive into it about who I am, who is the Diamonds Girl. So I began as a totally unknown entity. I didn't have a name in the jewelry business. I don't have a qualification. I'm the first to admit it. I'm passionate about diamonds, passionate about gems, passionate about jewelry. But certainly an unknown, and I would walk into jewelry boutiques, I would walk into a Graf or Bulgaria and say, I love that, can I see it, can I photograph it? And they would look at me as though I was absolutely crazy. Not a hope in hell would they let me touch their stones. All of this was very new. We're talking 7 years ago. It was a very new medium. I didn't have a location or a store or a brand. It wasn't like people were walking in and I was having the chance to introduce myself and to get to know them. In fact, when I began my digital platform, the only part of me that I would share was my back. I mean, it's almost pretty rude if you think about it, but it became my shtick. It became my thing. And through that, people learned. They learned that I've got a dog called Yoshi. They learned I've got 2 beautiful boys. They knew where I was in the world, whether I was in Cape Town, whether I was in Bahrain, whether I was in Miami. They started feeling a sense of knowing me. Hold on one moment. I'm just going to move that block a little bit. And the more they got to know me, the more they started trusting me. The more they were engaging with me, the more they felt that I was a point of reference that they could turn to with questions about jewelry, about diamonds, and they felt confident that I would give them a response that they could trust. Remember, we may be in a digital era, and we are. I truly believe that we have moved as a world. We've shifted towards a digital era. I think once coronavirus, please God, we'll have a vaccine soon. Even after that, I still don't think business is ever going to go back to the way it was before. So we're in a whole new environment and we're all finding our feet and learning how to work in it. It's not the same. We don't have people walking into our boutiques and we're able to look at them and say, we like the shirt that they're wearing. Their daughter looks so cute. We're not able to build a rapport in person. We have to be able to do it online. Yet people buy from people they know. So how do we figure out how to get them to know us on a digital platform? How do we humanize the whole online shopping experience? I'm going to share with you one thing I did. 2019 was a particularly tough year for me. Today, 4th of June, 1 year ago, my mom passed away. I was in Las Vegas at the time at the show, as I'm sure were all of you who are listening. We were all there. Most likely we'd be sitting listening to Martin's wonderful address. And I got a phone call that I needed to get home to South Africa very quickly. Jumped on a plane, flew to New York, had to get back to Miami to pick up a passport, to Istanbul, to catch a flight from there to Cape Town. And as I was boarding, my sister called and told me that my mom had died. Fast forward 3 months, I'm sitting in Bahrain and I get a phone call that my father-in-law has taken a turn for the worst. Again, drop everything, run to the airport, rush back to South Africa, and my father-in-law passed away an hour later. I realized that my followers, the people that I was so used to engaging with every day on my social media platform, could sense a difference. And I wanted to address them. So at the end of the year last year, I made a video. I spoke about the really rough year that I'd had. Keep in mind, at that time, no one knew what 2020 was going to bring. Okay, if we only knew what was lying ahead. Well, we didn't. We don't have a crystal ball. But I knew that I had to reach out to my followers, and I had to explain to them why for the past 6 months, I hadn't been replying to their messages. I hadn't been replying to their comments. And I addressed them all. I spoke about the year that I'd had. I made a video, I sat down, I spoke to them, and the response that I had from them, the comments that I got were just overwhelming. I'm not going to show the video right now, but I just want to give you an indication. I received so many hundreds of comments of support that it went such a long way to my followers really understanding what I've been through and relating to me as a person. Now, I'm not saying that you all need to go online and create videos about your personal lives, but I am saying that you need to share something about yourself if you want to earn the trust and if you want to earn the business of people. I've got some people up here on the left. I haven't asked for their permission. I'll apologize afterwards if need be. They are all in our industry and they are all online. You know, we've got Ori Vechla over here on the left holding a birthday cake. It was his birthday. We've got Stephanie Gottlieb. She's built such a name for herself in New York. We're seeing her holding her son. She's currently pregnant. We see her bump growing every day online on her page, as well as seeing the most beautiful diamond rings. Yeah, we've got 3 generations of Goldberg women. We know William Goldberg's an icon in our industry, but the brand showed us something beyond just their beautiful Ashoka cut diamonds. We've got Bruno Scarselli down below. We've got Jeff Levkoff, another New York jeweler. We've got Sam from LA. Looks like he could be modeling if he wasn't selling diamonds. Hey, Sam. You know, these people have succeeded in showing a piece of themselves to the audience. And I truly believe, without any doubt, that it has contributed to their success and to the online sales that they are making. So you need to figure out, who are you? What is your image? And when I say you, I'm not talking about you personally. It could be your brand, it could be your business, it could be your product, but there has to be a personal component. Why? Because what we do is emotional. When people are buying a diamond, if people are buying a gift, and now more than ever, for all the reasons that Martin spoke about, the economic hardships that people are going through, the rising unemployment, for all of those reasons, when people invest in jewelry, in a diamond, they want to feel that you are as invested in that purchase as they are. They want to believe, and they have to believe, and they need to believe, and it should be so, that they can trust you, that you're being transparent, and that you have made a human connection with them. You know, I always say, what we do, it's not a catalog, guys. We don't have shoes, we don't have the Nike sneakers, we don't have makeup, you know, we don't have trendy clothes. It's completely different. It's a product that brings such an emotion attached to it every single time, whether it's a diamond that belonged to a parent or grandparent and it's being reset and you're trusting the jeweler to do it for you. Whatever it is that you're doing, there has to be an emotional connection with your customers if your business is going to survive, if it's going to not just survive, but thrive. And ultimately, that's what we all want. And yes, as Martin pointed out, you know, we've been through good times as an industry, we've been through bad. The world itself is in a particularly difficult place right now. But now more than ever, people want to feel that they can connect. People want to feel that they can relate. They don't just want to know of you, they want to know you. Social media is an amazing way for you to really make sure that people are aware of your brand, that they're conscious of it, that they know about you as a jeweler, as a seller, as a merchant. But if they don't know you yourself, if they don't feel a connection to you personally, they'll buy from the next. It's a very, very low cost medium for people to get in to a digital environment. Let's face it. It's not like a brick and mortar environment where you have to build a boutique and build it out and have shop fittings and be invested. It's pretty easy to set up an online account, whether it's on Facebook or on Instagram. And that means it's very, very competitive. And if you can't figure out how to differentiate yourself from the competition, from the next person, I don't believe that your business is going to be able to thrive in this new digital era. So I urge you, I ask you, you know, to really think about how you can humanize this digital transaction that you're doing. How you can create an online personality that's unique to you. How you can shift from being an online presence to a living, breathing, emotional presence that people trust, that people are confident to buy from, even though they have never met you and in all likelihood never will meet you. So that's really, you know, my message to you today. It's to say, you know, take a step back. We have the luxury of time right now because of the place that the world is in. Think about how you can take your digital presence, how you can flesh it out to make it human. If you want to know more, you know, we've got a limited time frame today. Please email info@rapaport.com. And we can certainly, you know, move towards setting up additional seminars, helping you in different ways, sharing more information with you. Either way, I think it's a critical factor for success in the future. And that's it from me, Martin.
Thank you so much. It's just, look, what you're saying is so important because, God comes along and says, you can't touch anybody. You can't shake anyone's hand. You can't hug anybody. And you can't really have a relationship with anybody.
Yeah.
But here's this digital stuff.
Yeah.
And so I think the challenge that we're hearing from Tracey, which is, and it's a challenge I'm going to tell you about. And Tracey's been able to get all those thousands of people. How do you humanize and create a interactive human relationship using the social media and the internet and the digital tools that are available today? Because underneath all the technology, we're humans. And the need for human connectivity is fundamental to the survival of so many people in our business. Because if it's all just going to go Amazon, if it's all just going to go FedEx, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute, how are we going to survive? Or maybe it won't survive. So I'm going to move on from here. Tracey, thank you very much. And I think your point in how to do it, and people, as you get more involved and you get more invested in this concept of humanizing your digital presence, being really you online, people will know you. And look, imagine it this way. Let's say you're a jeweler and you got 2,000 friends in a village, a town. And these 2,000 guys, they're your customers. Coronavirus, they're not coming to your store, not visiting with you. How are you going to maintain those 2,000 relationships? And that's what you need to think about. Because, you already have them. That's it. Okay, but you think that I'm going to get people from China to buy diamonds? Okay, we do that sometimes. But how are you going to take care of your friends? This one has a birthday, that one has an anniversary, this one has a sweet 16. You got to be able to build your you-ness, and you already have it. They know you. They like you. You already have these customers. So one way is to save your existing relationships, and it's very important to do that and to think about the ways that you could do that. And I guess Tracey's here. If you have these kinds of questions, come and let us know. Because we're not solving everything today, but we're trying to give you a pathway and say, this is what you need to do, everybody. You need to become your uniqueness as a human being needs to be out there. Okay, what do I do now, Joshua?
So Martin, sorry, just quickly, we have 7 participants with raised hands. Do you want us to return to questions at the end? Should we?
The end, because I want to make sure we have enough time to cover everything, and then we'll look at it. And then also we can do something later where we'll just be more questions and send them. Maybe we'll run an FAQ later as well, so everybody can see it.
Perfect.
Okay, this will stop other screen. Sarah, do you want to do it? Yes. And I'm back on here, and here we are after Tracey. So now Tracey was talking about something very important. It's actually fundamental to everything that I'm going to talk about now, which is what about you and your business? And you got this boogeyman called the virus, but the virus is nothing. It's the chopping off. They chopped off your hands. They chopped off your store. They chopped off your relationships. Where do you go from here? What are you going to do? So first of all, in the physical space, well, actually, we'll start with emotionals. What is the emotions behind diamonds? What's really going on here? And you got to transcend the product, everybody. I think Tracey said a little bit different. I really, really mean this. If all you're doing is selling a product, Amazon, or you're selling suppliers, or Blue Nile, or James Allen, or Etsy, or you name it, they're just going to kill you. You can't compete with them. But they can't compete with you either if you really understand your customers. And if you're giving them more than just here's a commoditized product. And that's the challenge. That's the thing. But first of all, what's behind this? The emotional demand, desire. I want a diamond. A lot of women really feel like she wants the diamond. She desires it. Relationship. It's not just the guy and the girl, it's the woman and the diamond too. She looks at the diamond every day for a few minutes, Oh yeah, it's mine and I like it and I think the guy who gave it to me. The idea of humanizing who we are in a digital world, where it's not just that, we're going out and saying, I'm going to take the digital world and I'm going to humanize it. No. The digital world is crashing in our head. It's banging into us. And we could become not human. We could become robotic. Yeah, so guys, you have robots in his jewelry store because of the coronavirus, right? But we're not going to turn digital human so much as the digital world has now come crashing in us, and if we're not digital, we're screwed, we're out of business. And then this question of branding, which is an interesting question about what does that mean? What is a brand? What does a brand have to do with emotions? So let's see. Hopefully, so I am pointing out the physical and the emotional. Very nice. That's an extra slide. So this emotional thing is driven by desire, relationship, human, and branding. Okay. So now let's understand what's going on and take it from the social side. Emotionally, conspicuous consumption is like not cool anymore. You do not want to be showing everybody. Maybe if you're a rapper, you know, you're still wearing that gold stuff to send some message out there. But the normal person wants something of value. I think the Bears are saying, Stephen Lucy always says, he always says this when there's tough times, you know, smaller or fewer better things. But the conspicuous consumption in a world where you have so many unemployed people and there's such a division in society and people thinking socialism and environmentalism and every otherism, you got to cool it. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't sell what people want to buy. I'm just saying expect there to be more sensitivity. Environmentalism is in. Commitment is in. The commitment of people who have been alone in their home for 3 months and thinking, you know, maybe it's time that I should call my old girlfriend, my old boyfriend, and get a relationship and actually get married or live in together or do something. And that's happening. As I'm speaking to you, it's happening. And the fundamental idea of emotional and financial security, people want that. They need that. Now more than ever, they need it. So before it was just, go out, have a good time, I've got a time. Now people are starting to think, well, maybe I want to have a relationship with someone and not just a good time with someone different every night or every day. So these ideas are happening to us emotionally. Now I gave us an example here so we can start thinking about the business a little weird. You're looking at the share price of Signet and Tiffany. Amazingly, they had the exact same share price. You'll see they have, about that time they even had the same market value. But could someone explain what's going on over here? Signet went from 130 to, I don't know, $10. They were $9, they were $7, now they're $12, $11. And Tiffany went up to 100 and something, although they dropped recently, and you know, there's rumors that LVMH should not buy them. But why is this happening? They're both selling jewelry. And here's the real shocker. Signet is selling stuff, 6.1 billion a year. Tiffany's selling 4.4 billion a year. I don't know, maybe that's a mistake. It's too weird that they're both exactly the same revenue. 2018, 2019, there may be a difference there. But the real story is the market cap. Tiffany went to $16 billion. And that's 16 times or 13 times what Signet is. Why would that happen? What's going on here? It doesn't make any sense. Look, if you go back to 2015, so the market cap of Tiffany was 4% more than the market cap of Signet. Both selling jewelry, high-end, medium. But now we're at 1,756 times the market cap. And why would that be? What is Tiffany doing? They got some special sauce. They got some special thing. Why would that be? And I would tell you it's all about emotions. It's not about, now that's true, they sell a better product maybe, and they're very particular about their quality, but anybody could do that. So what's going on over here? What is causing this to happen? How do you explain the difference between Tiffany and Signet's market cap? Part of it might be the wealth effect. Tiffany's selling rich people, stock markets keep going up. But is the price thing that really makes it happen? Signet certainly is chasing a lower price point. Is it a better deal? I don't think that Signet's got, you know, better deals. Tiffany's got better deals than Signet for like products. Maybe they don't sell the same products. So it's not about price. It's like, oh, buy from me, and you buy so much from me that I'm going to be worth a lot more money as a company because I get cheaper prices. You know, I'm not knocking Walmart, whose big philosophy is, you know, cheap prices or, you know, cheap price. But what's going on here? Do you get rich by having a cheap price? It's not price, everybody. So Tiffany does something that maybe Signet does not do. It's a focused brand, but it's an emotional relationship with the customer. In other words, the customer who buys a Tiffany thing wants that blue box and feels good about it. What do they feel good? feeling good's an emotion, everybody. Okay? I feel good I bought this thing. And I don't care about the money so much. I care about the feeling of the good feeling. Will I get the same good feeling in sales? Apparently not. I mean, the product orientation in sales is there, but the brand orientation of I really feel great about it. I can't speak to that because maybe I'm wrong. Maybe sales is wonderful. I'm not against sales or Signet or anything. I just want to say I see the difference, and I think the difference is the emotional relationship and connectivity with clients. But Tiffany has to be careful because it's very easy to lose that. Now, recently, I mean, last year, whatever is their customer service wasn't so great, my wife stopped shopping there, for example. And because, their level was so high before. So the point I'm trying to say is, think about the customer and don't worry about the product so much. Don't worry about the price so much. Think about establishing an emotional relationship with the customer, which is why we brought Tracey on the call today. Think about the customer. And then you can get amazing results. It can be worth a lot more. I talk about physicalness. Physicalness is a jewelry. This is my store. What does my store look like? But let's think about physicalness, but from the customer's perspective as well. Love, commitment, sex. Those are physical things. Commitment, you might say, is emotional, but it's not. This is the person I can physically hang on to. Watch couples walk hand in hand, or hold hands, or hug each other. It's a strength that you have from each other. The beauty, even a piece of jewelry. You look at a piece of jewelry, it's beautiful. I like the way it looks. It's aesthetically pleasing. Confidence, you might think, is something that's just emotional. But it's not. You walk differently. Many years ago, I started as a salesperson, knocking on doors of the West Coast of Florida. And my mom said to me, I was about to leave Miami, I was afraid to sell on the East Coast of Florida because I figured all these cocaine dealers, someone would kill me. Going to the West Coast was a little safer those days, Naples and all these guys. So my mother gave me $5,000. I said, Mom, I don't want to take any money from you. She says, no, I'm not giving you that money to spend. Put the money in your pocket. You'll talk different. You'll talk different. You'll walk differently. You'll physically feel different. Emotionally, but it was true. So when a woman's wearing a $50,000 ring or a $5,000 ring, wow, she just, feels different. It's like a guy with these watches. Watches are jewelry for men, right? You feel, wow, I really feel up to this. So don't ignore that idea that there's a physical relationship with the piece of jewelry that's sitting there as part of what your customer's experience is. And that's something that you got to develop. It's not just, okay, here's something, just have it. It's a relationship with the piece of jewelry. And security. If you got something, especially now, you're wearing something that's $10,000, I saw the history of the Jewish guys after World War II, it saved their lives. I even have a story of my mother for that. So let's take a look and try to see what's going on over here. Why do people buy diamonds and jewelry? What's making that happen? What's the idea behind buying diamonds and jewelry? Commitment, love, relationship. The guy feels so good he's giving her a piece of jewelry. Really feels good. It's a good feeling to give your wife an expensive piece of jewelry. It feels good, at least for me. It feels great. And she likes it too, but I like it maybe even more than she does. It makes me feel proud to take care of her, to give her something that shows my love. Now, can this product idea be provided digitally? I don't know yet. That feeling that the guy gets. Yeah, maybe. He buys it. He gets shipped FedEx. He opens it. He puts it away. He hides it, usually in a sock drawer. And then he gives it to her at an appropriate time. And, he feels pretty good. So if the world is going digital and you can get everything you want to get, who needs jewelers? The store, the expenses, what's going to happen with these jewelers? And, do you need to have a physical, thing? And here's the big question for today's talk. What is the value of human interaction in the sale of jewelry? How much does it matter if I get it at FedEx, or if I'm talking to someone and asking, what is this jewelry? What is this diamond? What does this piece look like? I mean, is there a gap in terms of expertise and friendship and communication? that can happen. Now, we talked just now with Tracey about creating you on the internet so people know you and they feel comfortable with you. We had a young woman working for us, and no one would buy a piece of jewelry unless they talked to her. They loved her. They trusted her. And it was just on the phone, and they wouldn't move without her. Yeah, I think you can do a lot of good stuff on the phone and build relationships on the phone. You know, Zappos is an amazing company in Las Vegas. We have offices there too, and they sell shoes. And there was an article in the Wall Street Journal, I think it was yesterday, about, you know, how people are calling Zappos because they just want someone to talk to. And Zappos keeps talking to them and building relationships. I hear they're even helping kids do their homework. So this idea of interacting with people and becoming friendly and really getting to know them well in the electronic space does exist. And that's why Tracey was here today. And that's what I'm telling you guys. Now, if the human relationship, if you can trust me, if I can give you advice, is worth anything, then that has to transcend to the digital world as well. So even the guy doesn't come into your store, but you know, this is the person I talk to when I'm going to buy jewelry. And people expect that. They're talking to their doctors today online. Okay? They're learning in school online. They have to have their online jeweler as well. And the jeweler has to be able to provide that ability to understand the jewelry and to find the right piece of jewelry and to do whatever needs to be done in a digital manner. So the other thing is, what's the cost benefit? So now you're sitting here, you have a supplier. Your supplier is going to sell to, I don't know, a Blue Nile, or take a look at Costco. Costco is a great company. They don't even have to make money selling jewelry because they get their membership fees. So they sell a 12 or 14% margin, something like that. And there it is, but you can't talk to anybody. I forget about it. You can't talk to anybody. I don't know. Maybe you can now. I know the old Costco. It doesn't pay to go to the store for sure. Not wait till they find the guy with the key and open the showcase. So what is the value of that human interaction above, say, Costco? Say Costco's selling a IVS 1.5, I would call it the 1 carat diamond for whatever price, and you can sell it a lot more expensive. What value are you giving that justifies the increase in price? Think about that. And what do jewelers do? Are stores going to be necessary in the future? And if so, what kind of stores? I'm not saying that they're not going to be necessary. Don't get me wrong, okay? I don't know what's going to happen in terms of the world not coming back to some normal thing. I'm the guy that never dreamt the stock market would go back up either, okay? So I don't know. But you may want to think about that. And even if you do think your store is necessary, you want your store, you think, what if I didn't have a store? Could I still be in business? What would I do? How would I sell? How would I build relationships? That's really what I'm trying to give you today. Imagine you didn't have a store, because now with coronavirus, you don't have a store. Let alone the riots, but you don't have a store. Are you selling? Are you building relationships with your customers? Are you interacting with them digitally? Are you telling them you love them, you like them? Are you remembering their birthdays? Are you talking about getting together online? You know, I have a Zoom thing with my friends. We have dinner together. There's dating now, you know, virtual dating. It's a riot. They said, I saw a thing, my daughter started a thing for Jewish kids that date, you know. I think it's called Corona something. And so I saw in the New York Times, there was an article about it, a guy saying, how should I dress for my virtual date? You know, how should I dress for a virtual date? Look how people were thinking. So the advice was, have a nice background, this and that, but make sure, even if I don't see you, do wear pants. That was the advice. This is the New York Times. Do wear pants on the date, even though she's not going to see you. Okay, I'm not going to say if I'm wearing pants now. Anyways, the bottom line with this whole thing is, building those relationships as a jeweler, as a person who is selling jewelry. Maybe the jeweler consumer, but it's even true wholesaler to retail. So we're back to this argument or this discussion here of these different forces. And I'm not telling you, I didn't give you everything. I don't know what I gave you. But if you stop and you think, oh, I got this coronavirus thing going on. I got a business going on. I'm a wholesaler. I'm a retailer. Can I think about the economic impact? Can I think about the social impact? How these things are interacting, and emotionally, how do I feel? How do my employees feel? How do my customers feel? Physically, what's happening to me? I can't go to the office. I can't go to the office. I'm afraid of getting sick. I'm not afraid of getting sick. How are my customers thinking? How does the jewelry feel physically? So I want you to just kind of try to build yourself a model around these things. So now let me go with the way forward. Let me tell you what I'm thinking here. Because this is like background, telling you how to think, general stuff. Let me kind of lay out to you where we're going and where we think. First of all, transfer the product to the customer. Don't worry, there's going to be enough products. And no one is not going to get engaged or married because there's no diamonds around. Don't worry about it. There'll be diamonds, there'll be product. And don't let the suppliers control your world. Buyers are important. I hate to say buyers are more important than suppliers, but if someone gets angry because they have so many suppliers, they will wrap. Buying is the most important thing. Demand today is more important than supply. Don't worry about supply. But the customer is king. What does the customer want? Why do they want it? Why do they want to buy that ring? I'm selling you a ring. Here, take it. I don't care. No. You want to dig into the person's soul to understand why are they buying that jewelry and how you can figure out using your brain, using your technical abilities, using your expertise, using your experience. How can you give them something better? How can you help them get what they want, but even better than if they were just going to buy it on Amazon? Identify your customers. I mean, Tracey was good. She said, you, make sure they know you over the internet. But do you know them over the internet? Do you go and look at their Facebook page? Do you go and see what they have on LinkedIn? Do you look at their Instagram? Do you have a social relationship with your customers to the best degree possible? Do you study your customers? You look at a diamond. Oh, it's a VBS1, it's a VBS2, it's a VBS1. Oh, look at the depth, look at the table. You know, oh, is it excellent? Is it very good? How about your customers? But take a loop to your customers. And then segment your customers. Don't try to sell steak to vegetarians. Think about what kind of jewelry they would like. I'd say I'm talking to people who probably know this a lot better than me. Some of these jewelers might think I'm an idiot because they've been doing this their whole life. They know when the birthday is, and they know when this. And today, with Salesforce and technology, you can really, really know your customer well. But what I see is two things. I see segmentation and curation. Those are the two goals of my digital marketing understanding. One is to segment your customers and know who they are, what they buy, what they want to buy, when they want to buy, why they want to buy. And the other thing is finding the right product for the right customer, the right time, the right price. But curate it. Knowing, I have this beautiful thing for you. My mother used to have a woman in Saks Fifth Avenue in Bell Harbor that knew her very well. And she'd go to the store and, things are crazy expensive, but then the woman would call her as soon as she saw something on sale that she knew was my mother's taste. And my mother loved this woman, had a great relationship. My mother passed away many years ago, but still. And, that was the relationship that a jeweler should have with their customers. Now, I know there are probably lots of people listening to this call who know this. Forgive me for being so, saying stuff that's so obvious, but maybe some people don't know this. Knowing the customer is as important as knowing the product. And when you know your customer really well and you know your product really well, that's adding value. That's, you can say, go on a Blue Nile, go look at the 10,000 diamonds and look at rings. But that's not the same thing as a person coming in and saying, this is for you. I know it's the right thing. I know my expertise lets you get the right thing. You got to think that way. The reason suppliers will need jewelers is because jewelers have customers. In the new digital era, your suppliers can simply run you over. They have more money to spend in digital marketing and digital technology, and they'll just go right after your customers. And just because you have a store does not ensure your suppliers will not sell your customers digitally. So this digitalization stuff that's happening because of coronavirus and the changes in society's ability to interact and to relate to the digital world, it's opened up a Pandora's box. It's opened up a wide open thing where your customers are now fair game, fair hunting, open hunting season using digital technology. So now you could be in the digital game yourself, that's fine. Open, let there be 1,000 Blue Niles or whatever. Or you can have a human relationship where the guy says, no, I don't buy from Blue Nile. I got my jeweler. He takes care of me. I'm good. Now, if you have that, then you're going to be a big winner here. Because all the digital schmidgital stuff isn't going to knock you out of the box because you love your customer, you take care of your customer. Now, it's convenient. I'm on the store. He walked down the store. He came in. He bought this convenience. That's not what's going to be happening anymore. I don't know. This is the wrong slide. I think I have another slide here. But anyways, I'll go with what I have. Convenience is not as beneficial as it used to be. The malls are dead. Dead. I mean, some people may go, maybe now they're going to put roller coasters in them, but convenience is online at 2 in the morning in your pajamas. Digital plans that cultivate relationships is the key to your success. And whether it's what Tracey said or what I'm saying, or your ability to use the digital experience and to let them know who you are, know who your customers are, this is the name of the game. This is where you need to go. Practice with your kids and your family. You know, we have a WhatsApp group just for my family. We have a weekly Zoom meeting with our family, and we're scattered all over the world, but it's so nice. And then in the company, man, 4:30 every afternoon, the senior managers from India and Israel and Belgium and in China and Hong Kong and I don't know where, Las Vegas, everybody comes together. And it's nice, you know, you can always have a little toast together. Point is, get into the digital game, start to build relationships. And even start with your family or start with your friends. You know, I got a good friend, one of them is another guy very busy, head of a hospital here. We get together online because we can't hang out together physically like we used to. Okay, here I said malls is dead and saying, okay. And you know, customers, that's why people are going to love you. Here's what they said, customers. Now, continue to do whatever you do to get customers. I'm not saying, okay, everything's only digital. If you were playing golf and they open the golf course, join the country club. But digitize. I can't say that enough. I can't say it strong enough. Because no matter how you deal with people and the way you used to deal with people, 50% of their brain, or maybe 80%, is now digital. You got to be part of their digital life. The other thing is when you're selling stuff, I can't tell you what to sell, but go for the basics. Sell what's easy to sell, because that'll build a relationship. You know, studs, simple pendants, let the diamond talk. Yeah, about this whole thing with the new diamond thing, what are they calling themselves now? Natural diamonds. They're selling natural diamonds. Don't sell natural. Sell people emotion. But what am I? Who am I? You know, what can I tell these mining companies? Mining companies think like miners. It's not their fault. You know? But they don't really understand the customer here because they're selling the product. But the bottom line is, for many years, the mining companies and all these fancy pants, they just wanted to make more money. More and more margin. Give me more margin. They were addicts, like drug addicts for margin. And they figured there's a bigger margin in fashion jewelry. We'll go to fashion jewelry. But what about the engagement ring? We can lose that. We can actually lose the idea of the engagement ring if we don't get off our bucks and really sell it. So sell basics. Here's a beautiful diamond. Simple, easy to sell. Okay. Hire young people. Have young people. I'm an old guy. I'm 68, right? So you know, maybe other people on the floor are 20 years old. They say, what do you want? I am young. Okay, that's fine. Especially women. And diversify racially. Most of America is not white Anglo-Saxons or even white Jewish Anglo-Saxons, whatever. It's Hispanics are going to be a majority of this company pretty soon. And the black people are quite fantastic. And the Asians, there's so many, we are a cornucopia of different cultures. That's what you have to represent. I don't know, these slides, I don't have them to my slides, they got along. So this is a president, continue to do everything, go over the basics, sell what's easy to sell. Okay, be diverse, think diverse. Okay, which means when you think about jewelry or design, or you got to think about other people's stuff. For example, I didn't realize it, but one of the biggest jewelry sellers to the Hispanic community is the 15-year-old birthday of a girl. It is like the most important thing. And they buy beautiful studs. It's amazing. And that is so important. And so, you know, you really got to think about other people and what they think and what they want. Be as diverse as your potential customer base, not your existing customer base, your potential customer base. Go beyond where you are today, because that's the other good thing about the internet and the digital world, and now everybody's interfacing with everybody. You know, you're not limited to who walks down your street. You're not limited to your friends. The world is your oyster. Now, okay, I advise local to think local, and because there's an advantage. You know, some big company, I'm the local jeweler. I got my local friends. They all want to deal with me. I can build good relationships with them digitally and all that. But do not compromise on the quality of what you sell or the quality of your service. And you know, some people say, okay, I'm going digital, and then they can't manage these people, and then the culture goes crazy in their company. Maintain good quality. That is really important. The best thing about you is your expertise and experience. Don't ever forget that. And you are important. You know a lot about jewelry. You know your diamonds. You know your colored stones. You know your goal. You know what porosity is or isn't. You know, you are someone who understands things. That is your identity. That is your benefit. Carefully evaluate exactly what you are selling. It's not the diamond, it's not the ring. It's the expertise, it's the experience, it's the knowledge, it's how to select the right diamond and the right ring for the right customer. And question, what is the value of your added value? And you know, so somebody comes to me, we do auctions, right? Sometimes millions and millions of dollars, right? So we had a big customer said to us, I'll give you $50 million of sales, but I want you to lower your commission. We make 5%, that's it. And it was a pretty big deal. And I said, absolutely not. First of all, if I did, I'd have to lower price for everybody else also, but I can't make money that way. I respect myself too much to drop my commission, my fee. And I want to do a good job, insurance, you know, do things correctly, marketing. And I said, the hell with it, not doing it. Goodbye. Take your $50 million and have a nice time. And they did, and the other guy did the deal and eventually went out of business pretty much. But the bottom line with this is be who you are. Think about it. Who am I? What are my benefits? What do I know how to do? Where am I strong? Okay. And then have confidence in who you are and charge a fair price. And if you can't make a living, then you got to find something else to do. Stop worrying about prices. Price competition will not save you from the internet. Don't go racing yourself off a cliff. If you don't have what it takes to beat Blue Nile or Amazon or anybody else, then I don't know, go into real estate. The only thing you have is low prices. Your suppliers will outsell you. I'm not even talking about, you know, your actual suppliers are going to find someone else that'll then give them maybe a better price or a different thing. Because you got to find something here that you have that's more than price. It's not just flipping. If you're going to flip diamonds, you want to flip hamburgers and McDonald's, you make the same amount, maybe yes, maybe no. It's not your game. You got to think deep inside of you. And that's what's good about what's happening now with all this internet stuff. It's forcing us to face our realities and say, okay, malls are out, this is out, the digital thing is on our head, where do we go? So the new digital world will push commoditization to the maximum. Everyone will see everything from everywhere. Wait, spell this right. So that means that it's an open book, but if you know how to add value, you're okay. If you're able to establish a strong customer base that appreciates your added value, you'll be fine. If you can't do this, get out of the business. I know I'm supposed to tell you, everything's wonderful, you know. That's the key. I have customers who respect me and who appreciate what I'm doing. That's your story. That's why you're around. That's why you're in the jewelry business. And if you can't find people that like you, and you're just shoveling diamonds or jewelry and no one likes you and no one cares about you, and you're not really adding value, I do advise you to get out of the business. And recognize that the structure of our industry is forever changing. And not only is it changing now, and it's not only going to change because of the coronavirus, big push, bam, it's going to keep changing. And this digital stuff is going to make us crazy. But is there more to selling than digital stuff? And that's my real message to you today. Is there more than that? I think that there is. And the question is if you can make money doing it. Okay, what's your value? Okay, so I'm almost done here. It's 8:23. First of all, so this is what I'm telling you. Be somebody. Have customers. That's it. Be who you are. Be comfortable with your skills and your experience, or learn, or take courses, learn how to be an appraiser, learn how to be an evaluator, learn how to appreciate different kinds of jewelry. There's so much opportunity out there, and you'll see in a minute, it's crazy. But become expert and really work on relationships with customers. If you got customers, you're going to do fine. If you don't, you're going to get screwed. And that's the bottom line for Martin Rapaport. Now, so what am I doing? Yak, tell you everybody else. So let's tell you what I'm doing. I can't tell everything I'm doing. I have to shoot you, but I can tell you basically where we're going. We're working with this RapNet, and thank God RapNet is doing well. We're over 1 million stones. I think 30,000 searches a day. We're feeling the markets waking back up, and America's still pretty close. So we're coming up, and right now we're doing China. I'll tell you about that in a minute. Providing a cornucopia of products to retailers. We're going into jewelry more. I think we already have 40,000 or 25,000 pieces. That's going to increase. And the name of the game is to make sure that you, whoever you are, has enough product to sell. Don't worry about selling product. You'll have enough product to sell. But we're making an effort to make this instant inventory is unbelievable. We just spent another $1 million on it the past year and a half. And it's going to allow you to have jewelry, ship the jewelry to your customer, send an image of jewelry to your customers, social media, your jewelry, all this stuff. So what we're going to make sure is you have an unlimited amount of products on your own website. So what we're doing at Rapaport is we are figuring out the best way for you to put product on your website so that you can make more sales by having more products. And you select the products. So we're working on how to select the products, and now we're working on how to reach the right supplier to the right customer, and really there's a lot more work we need to do, but we finished the technological stuff. The end of this month there's going to be a new widget coming out that's going to allow you very easily to put all the stuff on your website and significantly increase in your environment what you can offer for sale. So we're working not just to push a million products at you, we're working to get the right products. See, anybody today on the internet, there's no shortage of goods. Getting the right product to the right customer. So we're going to work very hard at making sure that if you got customers, man, we want to serve you. We want to make sure that you can do great business. So that's something that we're working on. We're creating markets for recycled diamonds and jewelry. And if anybody has heard any of my speeches for the last 5 years, 10 years, I'm always talking about the recycled business. It's the best business in America. Unbelievable. 57 million motivated American sellers over the age of 65. That's a lot of people going to be selling a lot of billions of dollars of jewelry will be sold by millions of Americans over the next 5 to 10 years. 151 potential American buyers, a lot of millennials. So if you take jewelry or diamonds, break it up if you have to, and take what the guy wants to sell, who's motivated, and get the product to be moved to the millennial, to the buyer, and you get, it's great. I mean, you don't need to go running around the world to find diamond suppliers pretty much anymore, because you're going to have people banging on your door to sell you jewelry, but do you know enough to do it? Do you have enough money to buy? Are you smart enough to buy? Interesting questions. And that's where you have this opportunity to buy. American jewelers should be making as much money buying diamonds as selling them. Huge opportunity here, everybody. Not just because of coronavirus, not just because gold prices are going up, so people are going to sell more, but because of the demographics. We're surfing the demographics. You should too. Here's the demographics. All them baby boomers, okay? All those 22.6 million, 20.7 million Americans over the age of 75. Diamonds are forever. Little old ladies are not. What are they going to do with this stuff? Okay, some of it's heirlooms, right? But there's going to be a lot of jewelry coming up. So America at some stage, I wouldn't say we're going to be self-sufficient with diamonds. I'm not saying that suppliers are not important, but I am saying if you're a jeweler in America and you're not taking advantage of this, big mistake. And this is going to go on for 10 years. So you should definitely go there. What else are we doing? We're creating auctions, online and brokerage. We're creating markets so people can recycle stuff, for people to sell stuff. These things with it. Okay. Lots of auctions. We believe that auctions create fair market value for suppliers because you got a lot of buyers there. And auctions provide sellers liquidity, you know, they can get money. They need to get money. And buyers who know how to sell the goods. They know how to buy the goods. They know how to sell the goods. Again, if you got customers, you can buy at an auction. Our first certified diamond auction held this Monday and Tuesday in delivery in Hong Kong. So, you know, we're not sleeping because of the coronavirus. We're not pulling back. We're getting more aggressive. I've never been so busy as I am in my life right now. It's crazy. So that's happening. So the coronavirus is forcing diamond jewelry to reinvent. You gotta move. You can't stay put. Digitalization is the #1 threat. Your suppliers will run you over, or opportunity. Get those customers. You can't compete with the suppliers and the goods, but you can kill them with the relationship with the customer. So customer. The key to your success is customer acquisition and development, and use every way you can do it. You can't do the way you used to because it's not easy to touch your customer and have them in your store. Just do it digitally. Don't worry about suppliers, but worry about customers. If you don't have customers, you're dead. Ability to develop customers through digital technology, greatest threat and opportunity. Expect suppliers to attack your customers with better prices, but less relationship and service. So, and I'm not just talking about retailers. You could be a wholesaler, and you really give that jeweler the ability. The jeweler, the guy walk in, he needs a 2-carat FVVS2 or FVS1. Boom, I got him the stone the next day. Bang, bang. That's a relationship also. Wholesalers or dealers. Now, the marriage, and this is an interesting marriage, it's a three-way marriage, a modern marriage, right? Between digital technology, jewelry expertise, and human relationship development is a secret to your success. So you got to be able to have this three-legged stool if you want to get the bottom line here. You got to figure out how to use the digital technology, and I don't mean you're going to have to become a programmer. I mean you're going to have to know how to project your honest, real self, like Tracey was talking, over the internet, or over digital media. You got to be able to speak English. You got to be able to speak social media. You got to be able to be yourself. Then you got to understand the goods, understand the jewelry. Because the other guys, they get a lot of great social, they're going to start doing websites and all that stuff, but they don't understand the goods. And then you got to understand people. You got to love people. You got to hold people. You got relationships. You got to be able to build relationships, digitally or not. The bottom line is, are you someone that someone wants to trust to say, I will pay more for this piece of jewelry because I got this human being helping me to buy it and to get the right thing, who's helping me. And relationships. So technology, expertise, relationship. Do those three things and you will succeed. Coronavirus, it comes, it goes, riots. You will succeed. A little patience, but you will succeed. So I want to thank you for joining us. You can send me an email, martin@rapaport.com, if you want us to figure out ways to help you. A little busy right now, but we'll figure out how to get people to talk to you. And go to rapaport.com just to learn more about us. And I'm wishing you good health and safety. And I really want people to take the time, care about yourself. You got to love your customers. You got to love yourself. Spend some more time with your family. Maybe you spend too much time with your family, but spend a little more time and be careful, because I don't think this coronavirus business is just all over yet. So, I'm still not running around going out so much anymore. I'm trying to be more careful. Now, I imagine there's a bunch of questions someone may have, and I don't know how to see them. So what do I need to do over here?
Well, you need to press the Q&A. Can you see the Q&A?
Q&A. Holy cow, 30 questions. I don't know if I can get them, but I'll see. In the coming year, how will the price factor, how will be the price factor will play a role to drive a market? Look, I don't know if lower prices make people buy more jewelry, but it certainly turns them on if they get something nice. I wouldn't worry about price too much because, you see, if your business is based on owning inventory, you're a gambler. You might as well go to Vegas. I mean, you have to own inventory, but I think the price isn't what the key. The key is having the customer, and you got to offer them a reasonable price, and you got to price your added value correctly. So let's say if a guy goes, he says, okay, here's a diamond. You can buy it in the Blue Nile for, $5,000. I have a big sofa. I have a nice showroom. I have expensive salesmen with pointy leather shoes, and I'm going to charge you $10,000. So the consumer is going to look at this thing and say, is it worth paying another $5,000 for all that stuff that this guy is giving me? Maybe not. So the value of your added value, and you got to price that right. And you don't need to think about pricing the diamonds. You should be about pricing your added value, okay? And that's the key. The key is, what is your customer relationship? What is the value of that customer relationship? And does the customer want it? I mean, there are many customers that say, I'd rather buy in Costco. Have a nice day. I don't want to deal with anybody. I know what I want. That's not your customer. It's okay. A lot of people are not your customer. But if you do have customers, you got to be fair to them, and they have to understand. So a guy says, work for nothing. Show them the door. Have confidence in yourself. Have self-respect. Have financial self-respect. It's a question for many people that why traders settle to shift it to other plans as soon as Rapaport reduce the price. It's economic something which goes out with that. I'm happy that today's Mr. Barnes is here to answer my questions. Price should be decreased once more. The survival of the trade, I really don't know whether I am right or wrong. Okay, look, I've got to be honest. And sometimes, God tests you. People call me this. If you go down with prices, if you don't go back up with prices, we're going to give you a hard time. I said, yes, I'm going to be honest about prices. And people say prices did not go down, and they say that there's no gravity, and they say, it's very hard for people who own goods to say my price went down, and they don't see clearly. Well, at least I don't know. Anyways, I've been doing this for 42 years. I believe prices go down, I go down. They threaten me, in some instances, literally threats. They're going to do this. I think that the big companies also have gotten freaked out about the fact, that, and I feel bad for them. They're screwed. They're out there. They got huge inventories. They've been playing around with rough or whatever they've been doing, and now they're behind the 8 ball. So I think we have to be compassionate. I'm happy that RapNet is doing fine. They're all running to other platforms. I think they want me to stop publishing prices, and I think that the real issue here is transparent competition, and they don't like it. And by the way, in 1982, I wore a bulletproof vest for 2 years. People don't like the fact that I'm letting people know when prices go down, but I have a moral and ethical obligation to do so, and I will. And I believe that if I stay honest and I go straight and I do what I'm doing, God will take care of me. It'll work itself out. And very uncomfortable period now. Oh, we're going to compete with our bigger trading platforms. It's like, nah, I don't even. That's not my game. I don't even relate to that. I relate to being honest. I relate to providing the best service we can for our customers, and I relate to caring. So you're going to see these bumps because if you want to publish diamond prices, you want to do it honestly. You're going to get people that hate you sometimes, and that's going to happen. But Bill Goldberg, when he threw me out of the New York Diamond Dealers Club, and he was a friend of mine. Later we became good friends. He said to me, "If you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen." Yeah, that's what he said to me. And I guess I'm a heat sink. Like diamonds are a heat sink, Rapaport's a heat sink, and my heat sink to diamond prices. So we're going to say it. We're going to tell it like it is, and sometimes we lose business because of that. But that's the challenge that we have, and in the end, we always get better, and just our business always grows. So I think we'll be fine. Can you discuss what role lab grown has played in the downfall of profits? I think a lot of people selling these lab growns are trying to get a free ride on the idea of diamonds. And the idea of diamonds is value. The thing retains value. You give a girl flowers. Will you marry me? Here's a bunch of flowers. No. Will you marry me? Here's a glass diamond. No. Here's a Swarovski crystal. No. One of the reasons the diamonds are seen as the gift of committed love is because they have a consistent idea of value. They can go up and down, but they go down, they go up, as you saw from those graphs. But this synthetic stuff is in a one-way price move down the toilet. And so when these guys say they're exactly the same, they're lying. They're just absolute liars, because these diamonds will the same way that synthetic rubies, synthetic emeralds, they're going to be worth a lot less money. So you buy something for $30,000, and then you turn around, and what's going to be worth $300? So I don't think that the downfall of profits, it could be that because of the noise that these guys are making and the lies they're telling, people are going to them, and people are preferring phony baloney stuff. But they might as well build Swarovski stuff already. So, I think that it is impacting some of the profits. Maybe people are making good profits selling synthetics, which we know, because they're sort of lying. They're saying, "Oh, the diamond's 30,000. I'll give you this for 20,000," and they make a huge margin. But I think this is going to go away. I think we have to look at things from a long-term sustainable. And it's hard for some people to resist the temptation of being able to make a lot of money with these diamonds, and it just speaks to the character of the people. Buy it back. Buy it back. Sold that synthetic diamond, and maybe if the market's alive, you can still buy it back for a while, but buy it back. I'd like to see what that buyback market is like. So I think it's a bluff. It's a real bluff stone, and I think they're ridiculously overpriced, and I think the prices are going to come down. Please comment on the benefits of having multiple fair and transparent diamond pricing units, like how each of your stock market commodities have multiple index listings. Yeah, I think that, I don't know what this fair and transparent stuff is. You got these guys out there, like the president of the World Fed. What he's saying? He's saying the trading by the industry for the industry. I would say to him, bullshit. By suppliers for suppliers, particularly by big suppliers, okay? In other words, the suppliers do not want fair and transparent pricing. The suppliers want high pricing so they can make more money, which is why they get upset when Rapaport drops the prices. Now, in terms of like how each industry or stock market commodities have multiple index listings. Now, index listings are very different than the actual price for each diamond that you see on a price sheet. And indexes can exist. You can have a lot of different indexes, but you got a Dow Jones index, you got an S&P 500 index, and those are different indexes dealing with different kinds of diamonds. And we do have indexes as well that we put out there, and anybody can put an index, and that's fine. But if you're talking about how much is an FEVS2 today, is it 42 below or 38 below? That's not that multiple indexes. Now, there are other people putting out price lists, and good luck to them, and that's fine. We've been doing it for a while, and the real question is, if you're putting out a price index, can you take the heat, as Bill Goldberg would say? And can you go down when all your suppliers threaten you, literally? So yeah, everybody's invited to do a price list if they want to. Multiple price lists, fine. You know, I guess people are going to choose the price list where they see someone that they trust and think is honest. I think that's what it's all about, honest pricing and tell you the truth. And I think that when you see Rapaport go down with prices and you see all the suppliers try to boycott us, you can tell that there's a reason that we publish those prices and people react that way. So yeah, that's the cost of telling the truth. And, you know, I guess people can do whatever price list they want. You know, there's lots of ink, there's lots of paper. You know, people can do whatever they want. The question is if you can withstand the test of time and be honest and transparent. Okay? And I don't know what the word fair means. Is it fair for the supplier to quote a higher price? I mean, I've seen some of these comments. I'm not impressed by them. In any case, I think anybody can publish prices, and indexes are different than actual price lists like we have. On social supply, what are the top 3 things the diamond jewelers can do to make sure they're sourcing? Oh, this is good. First of all, you have to ask your supplier where his diamonds come from. If he says, I don't know, say, do you have the name of another supplier? You should not buy diamonds from unknown sources. And you should not buy diamonds from people who lie to you. And you need to ask the question, where did the diamond come from? We were pushed back by a lot of these suppliers, but we're going to start putting a green diamond or green code on RapNet for diamonds that we know that they're coming from legitimate sources. And it's a little complicated. You know, De Beers has been talking forever about their blockchain and this and that. Blockchain, garbage in, garbage out. But we are working on this, and I think you have to have an honest discussion with your supplier. And go and visit it. We took people to Surat. We took people to other places. You got to trust the people that you're dealing with. The issue, 3 things, the top 3 things that I'm okay. So first of all, call your supplier and find out what's going on. Second of all, have a list of places that you will not buy from. No merengue diamonds, maybe no Congo diamonds. So you want to identify what you won't do, okay? And then don't just look at the physical diamond, but look at the project, the product, who's making your jewelry, how does that work? And document things as much as you can. Now, there's any number of places and people that are moving in this direction and documenting. We're trying to do stuff. There's a Responsible Jewelry Council, RJC, very good organization. They're not perfect, and there are some problems with them, but they're so much better than nothing. And, you know, I'm a member of the RJC too. It costs me money, get audited, but I think that, you know, dealing with RJC members is a good idea. But don't forget also to be ethical with the smaller people. What's going on in some instances is that some of these big guys are trying to squash, you know, the smaller people. And that's not nice, it's not fair, and it's not ethical either. So you don't want to knock people out of the box. Also, colored stones can be even more challenging because there's a bigger artisanal sector. And also be careful of the fair trade guys who say, oh, my diamond is fair trade, it's worth 20% more, and, you know, and then we should give more profits to everybody. It's nice to do charity, but charity in the context of diggers is not a very good thing because it's not sustainable. And what are the obvious but out-of-the-box steps to do this? Well, the obvious things is, first of all, buy from a legitimate company. Second of all, meet or get to know the people you're buying from. And in RapNet, I guess, like I'm saying to you, we're going to start marking diamonds that have an added value of some kind of anointing. Thank you, Tracey. Here's a consideration I think about. I had an experience with robbing and such. I left me subtly skittish in a way of right ways. Left have Tracey and others address the feeling of exposing oneself on social media. That's excellent. Tracey, do you want to speak about this one? You know, this person's loss, and maybe a lot of people have lost things through looting. Do you want to speak to this, Tracey?
Sure, absolutely. Can you hear me, Martin?
Yeah, I hear you perfectly. Talk away.
Okay. Okay, excellent. So I think it's a very legitimate question. It's a great question. And certainly, you know, we all saw the Kim Kardashian robbery in Paris where her beautiful cushion cut diamond was stolen. And I think it has made a lot of people very, very reluctant to really put, you know, big pieces out there for fear of security and for fear of risk. So yes, that will always be a concern. I think that it really does depend on what it is that you're publishing. I think it goes back very strongly to Martin's point after I spoke about you knowing your customer the same way as they have to know you. So it's a two-way street. And I think before you are disclosing any details about a dress and where you're keeping your inventory and where you're keeping jewels or loose stones, you need to know who you are disclosing it to. So I'm talking very much in the digital environment. Of course, if you have a, you know, a retail shop, and I'm assuming that that's possibly where you had your break-in, then of course there are other precautions that have to be taken. But from an online, you know, perspective, don't put your physical address out there. Be very wary of what it is that you're sharing with people. And to Martin's very valid point, make sure you know exactly who you are talking to before you kind of lift the skirt, as it was. You know, it does have to be a two-way street. So that would be my advice. I don't think you can avoid, sorry, Martin, one more thing. You know, I don't think you can avoid the fact that it will be more and more, you know, online and more being shared through the digital space. So we have to figure out the workarounds to make it secure and to make it comfortable for both parties. Go ahead, Martin.
I would also say that what you may want to do over here, this is Carol. I'm sorry that you had that experience, but you may want to let people know how you feel about what happened to you. It's not about the jewelry or was stolen. This happened to me. Sort of like Tracey was saying how she had a tough time, her father, her mother died, whatever. Say, you know, this happened to me and this is how I felt. Because when you share feelings, you build relationships. So you may want to think about communicating that out to your group and saying what happened. And that's also the answer to the next. How do you show human connection through social media? You throw, my view is, you show human connection through sharing feelings. How did you feel about something? What happened to you? And almost as if you went to the bar with a guy or girl and you had a drink and you talked about what was happening with you. Think how people build relationships through talking with each other without the internet. And so that's really important. How can the rough diamond business be converted online? I don't think it can really be converted online. I think the rough diamond business is crazy. I think what's going on over there is irresponsible. Rough piles need to be seen physically. Yes, I think that there's been this crazy, horrible rough pricing wackoness, where rough prices are the head of polished and you can't make money and it's this other credit games. I don't like rough pricing. I think rough prices should go down 50%, so there's more profits in the industry. I think the rough prices have been too high for too long, and I think that I don't care about rough price. I care about profits. People in the diamond and jewelry business need to make profit. Then we have a healthy business. If you squeeze everybody's guts out every day, they're going to go to other businesses. So, you know, it's like we're held hostage. People are angry with the price list. Transparency is holding us hostage. They're very angry at me about that. But, you know, the prices of the rough have to be reasonable so that their customers, you know, can make money. And I think that that is the most important thing that the rough mining companies need to take into consideration. I don't care what your prices are. Your prices should be higher. I really don't care. Can your customers make an honest living? Can their customers make an honest living? If your customers and your customers' customers cannot make an honest living, and I use the word honest, ethical, correct, if they can't, then you are not ethical, moral people in the long term. Short term, you want to screw somebody, you want to goose somebody, fine. Long term, you're eating your children, you're destroying your future, you're hurting the millions of people in this industry. And don't tell me this, oh, we have so many good people in Africa that we're taking care of. Because if you kill your customers, your wonderful people in Africa, you're not going to be able to take care of them. And I think we're going to see some of that this year as we watch prices come down. If we had a healthy, strong industry, much easier to handle the coronavirus. And bottom line is, jewelers, middle people, manufacturers, They need to make money. They need to make healthy profits. And if you make sure your customers make healthy profits, you will make healthy profits. In a Rapaport, trust me, people who use Rapaport, they make a lot more money than we do, which is fine, which is okay. You pay what, $1,100 a year, $660, and you get, I don't know what kind of value. So having customers giving good value to customers is a secret to a successful business. And I don't think rough prices have been there. And this going online, going here, going there, because they're speculating, But look, all I can say to you is I am disappointed in the rough markets. And I don't understand how people can pay those prices. And I don't, maybe not so smart. I understand how people can pay right now. I think the S&P 500 is, I don't know how that got there either. But patience, and we'll see what happens. Do you see lab growing is getting a bigger share? Yes, they're going to grow, particularly among younger people. Any risk to natural stone jewelry? Yes. What will make millennials buy natural versus LGDs? The idea that natural diamonds are worth money and have real value behind them, and that's what needs to be sold. I think that they changed the name of the DPA to the natural diamond thing. It just shows that they're selling natural diamonds. Don't sell natural diamonds. Sell the idea this is a product that's sustainable, that's going to be as strong as your marriage, that's not going to go down. This is not fluff or poop that goes down the toilet. This is the real thing, baby. Now, they did try to say real diamond, real this, real that. But the idea that the diamond retains value is fundamental to the gifting of that diamond. You're giving someone something of value rather than you're giving someone something that's going to have a lower price every Monday and Thursday. But they're going to go, the bluff sells. What can I tell you? Does it feel like diamond jewelry losing the competitive game to other product categories like hydronics? No, it's different. Isn't it less cool now to hang with a diamond jewelry compared with 30 years ago? Absolutely less cool. This is a failure of the lack of marketing of generic diamonds. And 30 years you had movie stars. Now they try to do it on this thing with the movie stars in Michigan. I think we really have to focus on the engagement ring. We have to buttress it. We have to make sure that everyone understands what a wonderful thing that engagement ring is. Because that ties the emotion, the love, the relationship, that ties it all into that stone. We need to go back to basics in the diamond industry. The chasing of fashion and jewelry for frivolous profits ignored the fundamentals, which are diamond engagement rings. And from that, everything goes. We lose diamond engagement rings, the whole business is kaput. Okay? And if we're just selling another luxury product like Gucci shoes or something, boy, man, have we taken the diamond industry down the toilet. This is not a luxury. I mean, luxury. Why? Because you want to make more money, so you call it luxury, so you sell luxury. Stop selling luxury. Sell the fundamental idea of a very strong diamond of value that commemorates and makes permanent the love relationship. Stop screwing around with luxury. Getting engaged. Luxury. No, it's not luxury. It's necessity. It's the basic reason you exist as a human being is to have a relationship with someone else. And that's where the diamond belongs. Luxury, schmuxury. I'm not a big believer in this luxury crazy. But yeah, people want luxury. They can make more money. Screw the extra profits. Stay home. Go to basics. All right. The big box online marketplace companies are absolutely predatory upon retailers' supply, knocking out the retail also this. Yeah, they're knocking them out because you let them knock you out because they can't build relationships. And the question is, do people want relationships? And certain people say, I don't want a relationship. I don't like jewelers. I don't like salesmen. I don't like these people bothering me. Certain people, like my mother and the saleswoman at Saks, say, oh, I love to have someone who can show me and explain to me and give me something unique and something special and something nice. And they understand the artistry of the ring and they understand the product and they understand the things. And they bring me maybe a colored stone, like a ruby sapphire. They bring me something that's nice and something that's different. And listen, when this recycled business comes in there with those 23 million Americans or whatever selling their stuff, there's going to be so much interesting pieces of jewelry out there. Sell that stuff. Become an expert. If I was young, I go learn appraisal courses. I go learn jewelry courses. I go to Christie's and Sotheby's and take their classes to understand what is a real piece, what isn't a real piece, to be able to authenticate. And then I'd be buying in beautiful stuff and reselling it to my customers. Be a connoisseur of jewelry. That's what you want to be. And the hell with the big box guys just trying to shovel diamonds like they're shoveling poop. Nah, shovel quality. To understand the customer, understand the product. Okay. How long will it take for diamond material to recover worldwide? So I don't know, because part of that's the world of the regular thing. People are talking 2021 Christmas, but maybe it'll be faster. You know, it would be great if the investment idea came back and people thought the diamonds were a store of value, if they would be a store of value. And at some price, people might start buying diamonds. We have another China rebound. So I don't know, but the recovery, it's going to be different. It's not like we came from A, we went to B, and we're going back to A. We came from A, we're going to B, and now we're going to go to W. I might use W. I'll talk about W in a minute. We're going to go to F, we're going to go to G, we're going to go another place. And that other place, a lot of the fundamentals will be the same. Know your customer, understand your jewelry. Like I said, 3 things, right? Know your product, know your customer, and what was the third thing? And know your ability to communicate digitally, okay? Let's see, so that's important, but it's going to take time, and expect to go someplace else. So I don't know if we'll recover the same way. If you're talking about will we recover the diamond manufacturing, I'm not so sure. I don't know where diamond manufacturing is going to go. It'll have to come back, but India is very important for India to have manufacturing in Surat, but they're making it so difficult. Let's see what happens. But I think that manufacturing will come back, and then the retailing is going to be very different, though. That's going to be, I think.
I'll take another question or two, and we'll end it. Or how?
Let me see how many more questions are there. Maybe I'll answer them faster.
No, 33.
Another 33. I'll try a little longer. Unless people want to leave, they can leave. That's what's so great. We're 343 people instead of 660, whatever. But I will try to go. Maybe I don't mind doing it now. How long will it take the diamond market to recover? We don't know. I think the biggest majority of people want to see what they're going to buy in the reality and not buy. I agree with you, which is why they're going to want to pick it up. But if you see it, you get a FedEx box, you open it, you like it, you keep it, you don't like it, you send it back. They buy their clothes that way. Okay, so I think that the idea that people get things and look at them and they have the credit card behind them and they can look at it that way and maybe more privately is okay. The explanation of the piece, yeah, I think that can be overcome. Will you be increasing the amount of vintage? Yes, we will. We are working to get on vintage jewelry. We love vintage jewelry, but we got to learn more about it. Threat to the future of real diamond industry evasion. Everyone's asking about synthetics. Synthetics are a bluff product. I hope they will, the test of time will blow them away. Online inventory, okay. The jewelry online inventory. When selling online B2C, the return price is often pretty generous. Return policy. So listen, if you know what you're selling, you know your customer, your returns will be low. If your returns are very high, then you're going to go out of business. So you really need to know who your customer is and what your product is. And you got to think about the product too. It shouldn't be damaged. There is insurance in some instances. There are risks involved. And that means that the markup has to be a little higher for that as well. But I think 30 days is becoming very much a norm. I think with us, we would look at 10 days if we did something. But it should be enough time for the person to honestly see the piece. It's one thing to discuss the equities on the stone, but you haven't talked about the jewelers need to understand where the stones and gold come from. Okay, traceability is important, but you're going to have to trust your supplier. If there's traceability, provenance remain very limited and weak as it's some retail jewelers. Rapaport is going to be working on traceability to give a green diamond, a green star to diamonds where we can track it. We've been working on it for years. The coronavirus set us back, but that is the direction of Rapaport. When does Rapaport plan to launch in-store? We have launched it already, June 1. It was already ready for a bunch of years, but the new one is out there, and I advise you, call Savo, do the instant inventory thing with us. We love you. You can have a lot of fun with this. It's growing, it's developing. It's going to be great for you. Lost track of time, missed the first hour of the seminars. I don't think we're going to put out a recording, but let us know. We can see what we can do for you. Can you have the video on this webinar? No. We're not going to be pushing out the video. Maybe we'll make other videos or pieces of it. We'll see. How do you see loose diamond sales going online in India? As it's more B2B and it's more trust-based with physical interactions. Okay. I think that it's going to go. It's going to be fine as long as it's good value and people can return it. But India is a different country with a lot of traditions and a lot of relationships. And, I think that there's going to be a good opportunity to sell loose diamond sales. But again, jewelry is very important, not just the diamond, and most people do, and they have relationships. So again, relationships are going to be important there, not just, buy it like Amazon, but that will develop. A certain segment percentage of consumers, 7%, 20%, whatever, are going to want to buy things online. In the coming generation, will be interested in diamond and jewelry investment. I don't know. It depends if they take their value. I think we're going to see some rough roads. And I think diamond now has an opportunity to shine as a store of value. And it might. Mr. Martin, I would like to talk to you since. Well, how can you do that? Send me an email, martin@rapaport.com. What is your take on the market for colored gemstones jewelry? I think they're going to be great. There is going to be an upward trend. I think that diamonds better watch out. I think they're fun, and I think there's going to be a lot of nice gemstones coming into the recycled market in the United States. I want to keep turning this thing. Keep it like these, really help us. Thank you, very kind that you enjoyed the presentation. And do you see a primary supplier in the new world? Do you see India as a primary supplier in the new world order, I guess, over China? Well, right now, unpleasant gift of the coronavirus. I don't know. India is going to do what India is going to do. China is going to compete. Both of them have huge populations, and they both coexist. I don't think it's a one or the other game. I think there's enough room in the world for both of these guys, and they have huge populations. So they're both going to coexist. Hang with new and coming platforms. I don't know. I don't spend my time looking into competition so much, if they are competition. But we're honest. That's the point. We're straight, and we've been doing this for about 40 years. And we invest about $5 million in our platform. So, we want to make it better. So maybe that's good. But I think that we're going to be fine. And like I say, know your customer, know your supplier as well. But we'll see what happens. But we're doing the best that we can to provide a really good trading platform. We're shifting back to next week. Yeah. I couldn't take this thing about the monthly price list. We need the flexibility to move up with prices whenever we feel it's necessary. The market is more choppy now than it's ever been. And we do not want to put ourselves in a box. So we thought it would be wiser to do it once a month, and maybe then it was because the markets were shutting down. But now the markets are back up. We're going back to weekly. With miners getting greedy, shouldn't they also invest in marketing? Yeah, they should. And in the end, they're going to have to. And the one good thing is maybe the synthetic diamonds gave them a kick in the ass, which is now they have this new organization called Natural Diamonds. But they have to market. They have to get focused on engagement rates. But we'll see what they do. With Sonia Frebin, how do you know the real discount? Sure, we got over 1 million diamonds. We're looking at prices all the time. And our diamonds, by the way, are real. In other words, some of these other guys, we have diamonds, 1 million. First of all, they never take them off. We throw off our diamonds every 10 days. Second of all, I don't know. I wouldn't trust these people as far as I can throw them. And the bigger they are, they say something. I think Mr. Bronfman, his name was, he was from South Africa. He once said something to me. He said something. He said, the bigger the bagel, the bigger the hole. We don't have any bagels things in the Rapaport breakfast. Bigger the bagel, bigger the hole. So some of these guys, I can tell you Ravnet has enough diamonds. I think we're at $5.4 billion today. They say they're 5.6. I don't know, honestly, but we're 5.4 billion. So we give you the prices, no problem. You have a problem finding a diamond? Give us a call. All right. All right. So with so many suppliers, they're not off Rapnet, a lot of them, by the way. They're just here and there. But we have to do the honest, right thing. And whatever the world does, they should do. So I don't spend my time worrying about what my competitors are doing. I spend a lot of time worrying about what I'm doing. If the prices are going down, even the price of the goods go down on my clients when they had bought before, and now if they're coming back to sell it back, they will get much lesser price. Yeah, so look, diamonds go up and down, gold goes up and down. I think people just have to be realistic about what's happening. And nothing goes all the way up and only up. Even the stock markets went down, went back up. So I think they just have to be honest about the prices. And if they want to sell it back to you, you should be careful. People in India, I understand a lot of times they say, okay, I'm giving diamonds, I'm going to buy them back all the time. It's a bad promise. Maybe you want to do that with gold. Maybe you want to do that with other things. But prices go up and down for all commodities. And I think people realize that and they recognize it. They buy stocks. Stocks go up and down. Can we have a way to filter for diamonds that have origin reports? Yes, we are working on that, and you will have that very soon. Sav will take note of that. Resellers have no way of knowing where it comes from. That's true, but there's a grandfathering clause that says if the diamond has been in the consumer's pocket for a reasonable period of time, then it's kosher. Why is it kosher? Because it's went through the process. You're not funding now a newly mined diamond. the environment. You're not funding a diamond now that caused the war last week in the Congo. Those are all benefits. And so the recycled diamond is a great business, and it's an important thing. And originally where it came from, I don't know, it's very difficult. But recycled diamonds from all of the NGOs and everybody are acceptable. And it's great to recycle because there's no mining, there's no nothing. They are probably the most ethically correct diamonds you can buy. Will India continue to be the central hub of the world? Well, India is the central hub of diamond manufacturing. I don't know that the central hub of the world. From a consumer perspective, the United States is the central hub of diamond demand, and China is coming up there as well. But let us not underestimate India. India has great potential if they didn't keep messing themselves up, but I don't want to go there. Greetings from London. I work for Luxury Fashion Brand. Recently joined the High Jewelry Group. Congratulations to you. We have amazing creations, but how do I encourage my clients from the older brands to us? By talking to them, meeting them, hanging out with them, showing them beautiful things, explaining why the things you're showing them are so beautiful. It's all about communications and relationship building. The higher the jewelry, the more expensive, the higher the level of required relationship building and communication. Remember, you're not selling jewelry, you're selling customers. How will diamond dealers make a profit if Rapaport reduces prices below rough pricing, not considering the mining costs? Well, mining costs, in my view, are bullshit. In other words, I don't care what the mining costs are. And they can say whatever the mining cost is, but you know what? Just because you have high mining costs doesn't mean that that's what the polished is worth. Think about the demand side of the equation, not just the supply side of the equation. So people have this idea, if it costs me this much, I'm entitled to make a living. That's not the way the real world works. The sound of supply is one hand clapping. Without demand, this whole business is nothing. And so my view of it is, you don't get to make a profit if you don't have customers that are willing to pay the price that you can sell the product for. And if you pay too much for the rough, well, I don't know, maybe you're crazy. Don't pay so much for rough. Don't pay for rough that is more than you can make a profit on the polish. And unfortunately, if you look at some of the graphs, that's what's been going on for years. Why do they pay so much for the rough? Maybe because they have all kinds of credit, or they have all kinds of other things that they shouldn't be doing. There's a big story in that. But rough prices have to make sense. Polished has to be the price setter to the rough. Rough can't be higher than polished to people unless people go bankrupt, which is what's happening now. So many stores will not make it through the stress of COVID and the financial. Will this ultimately be a good or bad thing for the jewelry industry? Well, my heart goes out to people who have problems. It's a two-edged sword here, because on one hand, there's less people, there's more profit for the people that remain. On the other hand, then there's less goods out there, then there's less opportunity for buyers to buy. The more sellers, maybe the more buyers would buy. But frankly, on the balance, I think that the survival today, COVID is waking people up. So the survival today is going to be, do you know how to make customers? Do you know how to take care of customers? And whoever can do that is going to win. And if there's more of you or less of you, doesn't matter. There's always going to be a lot of customers. So my thinking is COVID is going to wipe out some people, and maybe it's time for some people to go home. My customers trust me. Great. I have a good client base. But whenever I sell them, price go down, how do I justify to them? With emotion. Tell them the truth. If they trust you and you have a good client base, always tell the truth. And if prices go down, then fine. Maybe they should buy more. But, make sure that they understand why they're buying the piece. If they're buying the piece of jewelry because they want to resell it the next day, and they're investors, then they have issues. If they're not investors, then prices go down, prices go up. So I think that that you just have to be very honest with your customers. Just, my general feeling of life is that if I never do something that I can't tell my wife and the Internal Revenue Service, the tax people, I got no problems. A little boring, but no problems. Tell your customer everything. Pour your heart out to them. Let them know when prices go down so that they can buy cheaper sometimes. Just really communicate with them. Any update on RapNet? Further updates of today? RapNet's doing great, thank God. We're over the 1 million stones, 30,000 searches, I believe, a day, which is a lot. And we're at 5.4 billion, I think, already. So we're doing fine. We're coming back. We're coming back with the market. Stores are closed. What do you want people to do? They can't use RapNet. They can't trade. But things are happening, and we are feeling good about it. Sell my rough red diamond. Very nice. Send an email to our trading department, trading@rapaportdiamonds.net, and we'll be happy to help you. Send me an email. If you got rough you want to sell, we run brokerage services. We'll be happy to help you. Will you put a video for your previous webinar? Maybe. We're going to look at videos, but I don't know if we're going to do them as easy as we have in the past. we want to restrict, what we're doing. We are again and again criticizing lab grown, but its business is growing exponentially and replacing the natural diamond. That's true, Swarovski probably sells more CZ than the natural diamonds. That's the way it is. So like there's always going to be temptation. God is always going to give you temptations. For me right now, it's chocolate ice cream. I love to have chocolate ice cream, but it's not healthy for me. What did I tell you? For these guys, it's synthetic diamonds. For some other people, it's some other things they shouldn't have. But the bottom line is that we have to be true and honest with what we have. And our natural diamonds retain value and they're good. And that's what we need to sell. If we jump into something else because it's the flavor of the month and it tastes good, then in a month or a year, we'll be out of business, or 5 years, we'll be out of business. And we'll screw all of our customers. They come back. What did you sell me? I thought it was a diamond. It's only worth $300. Well, good luck. And you can always take short-term profits and screw your reputation and mess up the natural diamond business. But we got to be honest and straight. The whole thing is, are you honest and straight? And to me, that's my whole life. That's why I get into trouble dropping diamond prices. That's where all this stuff goes, honest and straight. How will you verify the diamond origin? Will it be a tracking system? We're going to investigate where the diamonds come from, and we will have tracking systems that sees where the mine is. Is it a legitimate mine? Is there an invoice? Who cut the diamond? Did this diamond come from this rough? The GI's got some good work there as well. And then when the diamond gets certified, you know exactly where the diamond is. So tracking systems are possible, even without whatever it is, that chain. Where can we find this presentation? You find it here and now. I don't think we're going to publish it so fast, although we may publish some other things. God is always going to give us temptations, chocolate diamonds. See that? You agree. Hey, I didn't even see this thing. I love you. It's exactly what I was talking about. That's funny. I didn't even see this when I talked about chocolate ice cream. Yeah, I do agree that God's going to give us temptations. We love you too. That's great. As women now are in digital world. Oh, this is going. It looks like I'm almost done. A digital world to say diamonds are girls' best friend is not working as used to be. What will be the new approach? Well, diamonds are relationships' best friend. Diamonds are the seal of the deal. Diamonds are the thing that makes our relationship more than another evening on a Tinder date. And I think that realistically speaking, you had a lot of millennials living a lot of life. Let's just live. Let's just have fun, experience. And now I think the coronavirus has given them another idea of values other than let's just make whoopee. And so I think the Tinder generation is growing up into a real relationship kind of people. And I think that's going to be important for them. And I think diamonds are going to play a role in that. So diamonds will be the relationships, not just best friend, but the relationship symbol, the symbol of this is us, baby. This is who we are. We're strong. We're valuable. We're beautiful. This is us. This represents who we are as human beings. And that's really valuable. Okay, it's very valuable. Supply chain is damaging. Yeah, supply chain is damaging, but right now the problem isn't supply, it's customers. Just focus on customers. Emerging countries people look mostly price. Okay, emerging countries people look mostly price. Labs are way much cheaper. How deal with this? People look mostly at price. But you're talking about labs in emerging countries. I'm not sure I understand this, Jordana. But I could say to you that labs are important. If bad labs put on bad information, don't use them. They're liars. But I think that I don't know about price. Price is important. But, you can always buy the diamond at Costco. You can always get the diamond cheap somewhere. The question is, can you add value to diamonds? And I think we're at the end of our thing here. And I think that maybe this was the right point to lay it out. The value of a diamond isn't just the diamond. It's what's bundled with the diamond. We understand that a diamond without a ring is going to be very hard to wear, so there's the ring. And a lot of women especially love beautiful rings. It fits nicely, looks good, pendant, bracelet, earrings, But now, what else comes with the diamond besides the ring? The human element. I think what I've been talking about today is how do we value the human element in a world that's gone internet crazy? Will the internet knock that element out? Who needs people? Who needs experts? Who needs relationships? Will that happen? For a certain percentage of diamonds, it may very well happen. But I believe it's the small people, the little people, the small jewelers. They're going to inherit the earth. They're going to be the people who have to build this business up by having relationships with customers, because what they add value to the diamond is that human relationship, which is so fundamental to the reason people buy diamonds. So yeah, you can buy something online and you can get it and it's fine, and maybe that's what you want. But if there are no jewelers, if there are no people behind the product, if it's all a machine, then the diamond is going to lose its luster. It's going to lose its magic. And so we need to support the jewelers. We need to support the people who make those diamonds so special because of their expertise, because of the relationship building, and also because they know how to bring in customers over the internet as well. So the big lesson here is that there's room for everybody in the industry, but you have to add value. And the way that I believe we have to add value now is by collecting and really cultivating customers. So love your customer, everybody. And I'll tell you, we at Rapaport, we love all our customers too. So thank you all. It's been a nice 3 hours or something. And it's actually 250. And thank you, Joshua, and thank you, all the team who's put this together, and all the best. And if we have pieces of this thing that we want to send out, we may make some little mini webinars of this. All the best to you guys. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.